Xi Jinping says that Islam in China must be quote unquote Chinese in orientation. Xi Jinping, the president of the People's Republic of China, visited the northwestern region of Xinjiang in mid July, signaling no change in his government's treatment of the region. Following the direction of Xi, Chinese authorities have orchestrated a mass crackdown on Xinjiang's Uyghur and Kazakh Muslim communities after an outbreak of deadly separatist violence. While an exact number has not been published, analysts say the number of detained is likely to be 1 million or more. During the visit, Xi instructed local officials to enhance their efforts to, quote, uphold the principle that Islam in China must be Chinese in orientation and to adapt religions to a socialist society, according to Xinhua News Agency, a state-run outlet. Any quote-unquote suspicious sign from Uyghurs, such as having a beard, making prayers, communicating with relatives abroad, or engaging in quote-unquote unauthorized online activities, could result in detainment and being subjected to a state-orchestrated re-education process. The Xi Jinping government has also been accused of targeting Muslim religious figures, banning religious practices in the region, and destroying many sacred mosques and tombs. So, this is obviously very significant. One, because this is Xi Jinping's second visit to the Xinjiang region, and the fact that he's doing it now after several years of what many people describe and identify as a cultural genocide. People are saying this means that he's saying, yeah, this has my stamp of approval. I went to go check out these factories myself, you know?
What does it mean for Islam to be Chinese in orientation?
So the Chinese government has the power to craft their own theology, where they basically worked with the Catholic Church to say the Catholic Church is only allowed to operate in China if you basically have a Sinoized Catholicism. So it is about making sure that their narrative is within every single ideology and that every single ideology defers to the state, goes back to propping up the state, or specifically the CCP, you know, their ideology.
Okay,
So
I
don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it, like Sinoized, but they've done it before. And so they're saying, if you're going to be Islamic in China, you have to be Chinese Islamic, meaning it has to always go back to our interests.
Are new YouTube members in the live chat? Rakshish. Hey, hi, saying hi, Susanna. Hi, Armin. Okay, but I understand what the goal is, but I'm saying, how would that look in effect? Like, how would that look out? How would that be achieved? Like, let's say, okay, a Chinese and Islam that is Chinese in orientation. I was thinking of maybe we could make blasphemous art and make a Muhammad that is Chinese, a Chinese Muhammad.
No? Okay, that's one interpretation. Okay, I think.
Can we make a Chinese Muhammad?
And that's all it takes. Chinese in orientation just means make him Chinese. It's fine. No, I think what they mean is more like, you know, there's so much in Islam that goes back to promoting the idea that there is no law greater than God's law, right? So man-made law is made second fiddle. So for example, I think that's something that they would want changed, saying, no, it's not actually that you will obey God's law above all else. You need to obey us above all else. I think that might be one example. What are some other things that you think they may want to change about Islam?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to. Apparently, we have to. Yasser Ghadi has a video. Ishaq is saying Yasser Ghadi has a video on Chinese version of Islam. So I'm going to go look at that, see what they're going to change.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Someone is saying that to make it Chinese in orientation, you do the Hajj around Tiananmen Square.
That's a good one. Yeah, man. You should pray towards the palace and pray. Okay. I was thinking of having a blasphemous art. Okay. that we have a Chinese Muhammad. Is that going to be racist? I don't think that's going to be racist. We had a movie. We have a Korean Jesus in an American movie. I forgot what that movie was, but I don't think people are going to see that as racist. We're going to have a Chinese Jesus, and we're going to have Chinese Muhammad, and they are both on their knees, and we're going to have Confucius standing up, and they both have their mouth up, and he's praying on them. Mouth open, and he's just praying on both of them. Is that good? And they're just like receiving all the Confucius.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The Confucius.
Is that not good? Is that a good idea? Like the censored version of it is that they're just on their knees, just like looking at him, and he's fully clothed. The uncensored version of it is that he's just praying them while they have their mouths open. I think that's a good, like, in reaction to this story, I think that would be a good blasphemous art that we could use to bring attention. No?
That's something.
And they have to be both very Chinese looking, both Muhammad and Jesus.
Ooh, Asian American has some more information. He's saying Catholics in China get a special dispensation to worship their own ancestors. Oh, so that's one such example. Maybe they would Sinoize that. Like, try to include ancestor worship within Islam, even though obviously that's very shirky. In Catholicism, that kind of behavior is not allowed either. Like, that's, pagan stuff from our perspective. I say as a former ex-Catholic. No, I'm not a former ex-Catholic. I am an ex-Catholic. Anyways. The mask slips. I don't know. I think I don't know how much of it about. It's not being Chinese in orientation. It's about being Han Chinese in orientation. Like, let's be clear, because the things that they clamp down on Uyghurs on are not even necessarily Islamic things. They're like growing a beard. It's associated with it, but even that, it's not necessarily religious, but it's just seen as outside of this Han ethnic identity. Like, within the Chinese Communist ideology and manifesto, and historically, there has been this push for acknowledgement of all of China's ethnicities. So I can't pretend like that's not true. But lately, there's been this push to Hanize them. You know how we say, Persianized or Arabized Persians? It's like they want to make them, like the Tibetans, the Uyghurs, make them more Han in presentation and cultural affiliation, which includes erasing their language.
I don't know, actually. I think it's the opposite, because I've seen them making things about the Uyghurs that makes them culturally distinct. They actually exaggerate them and show them, as a way to show. They turn them into, they present them as for tourists.
No, they're just tokenizing them.
They're tokenizing. Yeah. So by tokenizing them, they're not, because if they were trying to make everybody. Yeah, so in the process of tokenizing them, they're actually making them look distinct and separate, looking from other people. I don't think they want to make everybody look and act like they're the same, like Han Chinese. You know what I mean? I don't think they mind making different regions of China look different and act differently, as long as they have control over it. I don't think they want to make everybody look the same. In fact, they want to. By the process of tokenizing them for tourists and show that they are respecting diversity and stuff, by using them in that way, they are highlighting the differences. And I think they could have, we have Islam, we have Christianity. The main element is is it fully controlled by us or not? That's the most important part, I think. Are you there, Sus?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to read some of the comments? We have a lot of stuff.
Okay. People have a lot of reactions to your blasphemous art idea. There is no God is saying that he would love to see that. Rakshith is saying Genghis Khan as a Chinese Mohammed.
Yeah, actually,
That's
Chinese
certainly
Khan
an
is
idea.
yeah. That's good.
Forever Stormy is saying Armin is in the wrong field. He should be a smut writer. You know what, Stormy? I agree with you. You're very astute. And Ron is saying that in this art idea, he wants an involvement of Confucius's mustache in some way, shape, or form. And AGA is saying, I just got here, but the title leaves me asking, so how does this affect the Uyghurs? So it's just basically saying that we are going to dictate to you how you practice. Like, if you're going to practice, it is going to be the way that we ordain, that we put the stamp on. Nothing happens without our influence.
I think the way that it also will affect Uyghurs is that any practice of Islam that is out of line will get you severe punishments, you know what I mean, or get you in trouble with the authorities. So that's how it affects. So it's like, this is the approved version of practicing Islam, and they're going to hunt down people who step out of those boundaries.
Yeah. It's good to see AGA back. It's been a while. Kenny is saying that he's looking forward to the new blasphemy, and Asian American, his idea is Muhammad making love to the yellow and flame emperors. No, foursome of Muhammad, Jesus, and the yellow and flame emperors.
No, actually, you're right, because that would be too many characters. Like the one I had would be 3 characters in one art, and I think we can't do that. That would be too much for, like, it will make us not be able to produce as many art as we need for a month. So maybe this is a good idea as well. This is actually more sexy. Like, I think this would be a lot of people. Let's have this. This is also very interesting. Not all of them, just Muhammad. Based on this story, just Muhammad and the yellow. Which one is sexier? Flame Emperor.
Between the yellow and the flame emperor, which one is sexier?
Yeah. Which one is
That's
sexier?
A good question.
The flame one sounds more hot. Literally. So let's go with that one. Can we do that? Let's do. Actually, we could have multiple art. We could have Muhammad and Confucius, and Muhammad and the Flame Emperor.
And if you guys want to see this blasphemous art, it is exclusively available to our patrons. So link in the description below if you would like to join us in supporting us on Patreon. You also get access to our Q&As, asking your questions during our Q&As every week. And Asian American is saying not just Hanized, Beijingized. The current generation of Chinese kids can't speak their local dialects. Interesting. That's very valuable information or input.
The
coastal elites. They're at it again.
Let me actually make this clear. So for people who want to get our art, that with the non-nude version of our art, the one that is fully clothed, you could just subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description. And every week we send you our blasphemous art. They look gorgeous. They're beautiful, okay? And we send you our blasphemous art. We have different artists with different styles. So if one style is not your taste, we have different styles as well. And you get those in the email for free. But the 18 plus, the not safe for work version of it, the nude version of it, that one is only available to our patrons. So we make 2 versions of each art. One for which is clothed, for our newsletter subscribers, and the other one that is nude for our patrons. So link to our Patreon and to our newsletter is in the description.
Atheist Republic needs your help. We've been the target of many legal attacks by Hindu nationalists ever since our founder, Armin Navabi, blasphemed against Hindu deities. We have retained legal counsel to help us defend our access to our community in India. We have started a fundraiser that will help us afford to tackle many legal issues, including judicial harassment and censorship. Whatever you can contribute will go a long ways in helping us in this fight. Link in the description below.